The applause exploded before I even stepped inside. It hit my chest like a punch. Rain slid down the back of my neck as I pressed my palm against the banquet hall door. The torn envelope in my hand felt heavier than my heartbeat. Then Dean Ashford's voice boomed through the speakers. The scholarship goes to Mason Hale. My name should have been there. My work. My sleepless nights. But Mason walked onto the stage like he had been born for the spotlight. My suit was on his shoulders. My words rolled off his tongue. I saw his smile widen when his eyes found mine through the glass. He wanted me to watch. I pushed the door open. The sound rushed over me. Silverware clinked. Cameras flashed. Mason lifted the certificate, and Raven stepped beside him. Her hand brushed his arm. My chest tightened. I moved toward the front. Mason. He turned, still smiling. You made it. Good. I wanted you here. That was mine. My voice trembled with heat. Every line you said. Every form you submitted. Mine. He leaned in as if we were sharing a private joke. Then you should have protected it better. Raven stepped between us. Calder, stop. People are watching. I looked at her. Her eyes flicked to Mason, then back to me. Something afraid flickered there. You knew he planned this. The words came out before I could hold them back. She shook her head too fast. I swear I did not. Mason told me you agreed to let him speak for you. I thought you were working together. Mason laughed softly. See. Miscommunication. I felt heat crawl up my spine. Give me back the envelope. He raised an eyebrow. It is yours. I never touched it. He walked past me. Raven followed him, but her hand brushed mine for a moment. Light. Trembling. Like she wanted to stay. I stepped out into the rain again. My breath fogged in the cold air. I tore open the envelope. My stomach dropped. Inside were copies of the scholarship forms. Same format. Same timestamp. But the name at the top read Mason Hale. The handwriting matched mine perfectly. Down to the small tilt in the letter R. I felt the world tilt. Someone had rewritten my life on paper. I whispered to myself. No. No. This is not real. A voice behind me murmured, Calder. Raven stood under the awning. Her hair clung to her cheeks. Her eyes looked swollen. She held her arms tight around her chest. I need to tell you something. Her voice shook. But not here. Did you help him? She flinched. I did not. But Mason is not what you think he is. I know exactly what he is. I held up the forged papers. A thief. She stepped closer. Rain soaked her dress. I felt her hand touch my wrist. Warm. Desperate. You do not understand what he can do. Then explain it. Before she could answer, the banquet hall door swung open. Mason strolled out with the certificate tucked under his arm. He smirked at me. This was only the beginning. I felt sick. What did you do? Nothing you did not allow. His eyes glinted. Congratulations, brother. He walked into the night. Raven whispered, Calder. I am scared. I looked at the forged documents again. Every stroke of ink matched my handwriting. Every achievement had been reassigned. Every date altered. Whoever did this knew me better than I knew myself. My pulse hammered. If Mason could rewrite my records, then he could erase me entirely. And that was the moment I realized the truth. Someone out there had already started. I slammed my laptop on the library desk and leaned in close enough to see my own reflection shaking in the screen. My inbox was a graveyard of password reset notifications I never sent. Someone got into everything, I whispered. Footsteps approached. Raven slid into the chair beside me. Her hair was still damp from the rain. She kept her voice low. You should not dig into this alone. I should have done it sooner. I clicked open another hacked login. He used my account to upload his files. He submitted the forms under my username. Raven's breath hitched. Calder, stop for a second. I cannot. My chest tightened. He planned this for weeks. She reached for my hand but pulled back before touching me. I need to tell you something. I saw Mason in the admin office 2 nights ago. I froze. You what? She swallowed hard. I thought he was dropping off paperwork. I did not think it was dangerous. I did not think he would do this to you. You should have told me. I know. Her voice cracked. I was scared. Of him. She hesitated. Yes. I pushed back from the desk. Why? What does he have on you? Her eyes darted away. It is not about me. It is about what he can do to people he targets. I felt the heat rise in my throat. Targets like me. I did not mean it like that. A shadow fell across the table. Julian Pike, the tech assistant, leaned his elbows on the wood. His hoodie smelled faintly of solder and machine rooms. You should not be checking this on campus Wi-Fi, he said. If someone tampered with your records, they might be watching. I stared at him. Can you help me identify who accessed my account? Julian looked around before sitting. I can check the server logs. Off the record. But whatever you are looking for, you will not like it. Raven's hand finally touched my wrist. A soft press. A warning. Calder, please. Do not push him. I pulled my wrist from her touch gently but firmly. I need answers. Julian typed fast. The glow from the screen washed over his face, turning his expression sharp. Here. He pointed. Your student ID was used to enter the admin portal 21 times in the last month. I felt the world tilt. I never logged in that much. Julian kept scrolling. Someone used a campus master key to access the registrar office. Same nights your account activity spiked. Raven whispered, this is bad. It gets worse, Julian said. Your personal profile has edits going back months. Not just the scholarship. Your grades. Attendance. Even your medical records. My stomach dropped. Why would Mason change my medical records? Julian shook his head. This is not simple identity theft. Someone is rebuilding you on paper. Rebuilding me. Erasing me. Replacing me. Raven grabbed my wrist again, harder this time. Her voice trembled. Calder, you do not understand what Mason is capable of. Then tell me. She shut her eyes. I cannot. Not yet. I leaned closer. Raven, I need the truth. Julian cleared his throat. Before you two implode, look at this. I turned back to the screen. A cold wave crashed through me. My academic profile had been marked as under review for inconsistencies. A note had been added by an admin account. The signature looked exactly like my handwriting. I whispered, he has been rewriting my life. Raven's voice barely rose above a breath. Calder, he is not done. My heart pounded so hard I felt it in my teeth. What else did he change? I asked. Julian scrolled to the bottom of the records. His face went pale. Oh God, he said. He changed your status 3 months ago. What status? Julian looked at me, terrified. You are listed as a provisional student pending investigation. The floor dropped out from under me. My future. My name. My identity. Mason had been deleting me piece by piece. I opened Mason's laptop with shaking hands. My lie had worked. I told him the screen kept flickering and offered to drop it at the tech office. He handed it over without suspicion. He trusted my predictability. My silence. My habit of never fighting back. Not today. A hidden folder blinked at the bottom of the desktop. It was labeled CW. My initials. My pulse thudded in my ears as I clicked it. Raven's voice startled me. You should not be doing this. She stood in the doorway, her chest rising fast. The hallway light poured around her like she had run here. I kept my eyes on the screen. He stored a file under my name. Calder, close it before he notices. I need to know how long he has been doing this to me. I opened the file. A single image filled the screen. A little boy. Me. Maybe 5 years old. Holding the hand of a girl in a blue dress. I felt the air leave my lungs. Who is she? Raven stepped closer. Her breath trembled. Please delete it. I turned the photo over in my hand. Mason had printed a physical copy and slipped it inside the laptop sleeve. Words were written on the back in thick black ink. Keep him away from her. My fingers tightened. Why would someone write this about me? Raven reached for the picture. Calder, listen. This is dangerous. You know something. Tell me who she is. Her eyes darted toward the stairs like she expected Mason to appear at any moment. I cannot explain it without making things worse. I stepped back. Worse than him stealing my identity. Yes. The word hung heavy between us. Mason's voice echoed from the hall. What are you two whispering about? Raven flinched. My heart kicked hard as Mason walked in with that easy smile he used when he wanted people to lower their guard. He saw the laptop. Then the photo in my hand. You went through my files. His tone stayed calm, almost amused. I found a picture of me as a child with someone I do not remember. He walked toward me slowly. Some truths ruin people. What truth? He brushed past me and stood in front of Raven. Too close. His hand lifted as if to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear. Careful, little bird, he murmured. The nickname made my stomach twist. Raven hated when anyone used it. Except him apparently. Raven shoved his hand away, her voice tight. Do not call me that. Mason laughed softly. I missed how you used to cling to me. I stepped between them. Get away from her. He tilted his head, studying me. You think you can protect her from me? You cannot even protect yourself. That spark of anger inside me flared. What did you change in my records? How long have you been preparing this? He leaned in close enough for me to smell his cologne. Long enough to know you will never survive knowing everything. Raven grabbed my arm. Colder. Leave it. Please. Mason smirked at her desperation. See. Even she gets it. I felt something break inside me. Later that night, long after both of them went upstairs, I sat at our dining room computer and logged into the home security system. I wanted to see if Mason had left any trace of the identity sabotage here. At 2 in the morning, the footage revealed something worse. Mason meeting secretly in the backyard. With Grant Hale. Our adoptive father. Grant handed him a file. Mason pocketed it. My hands went cold. Why would my father help him? And what was inside that file? Rain hammered the roof when Grant finally said the words I had been chasing my whole life. He stood in the doorway of his study, shoulders heavy, eyes refusing to meet mine. I had followed him inside without waiting for permission. My heartbeat drowned out the rain. Just say it, I told him. You owe me that. Grant exhaled sharply. You were left on my doorstep with a letter. Your parents said I had to raise you far from a woman. No names. No details. Only one rule. You must never meet her. My chest tightened. The room felt colder. That makes no sense. Who is she? Grant shook his head. I cannot tell you. It was part of the promise. You promised strangers more than you ever promised me. He flinched. That was when I heard the quiet click behind us. Mason leaned on the doorframe, arms crossed, pretending surprise. Wow. Heavy talk for a rainy night. Grant stiffened. You should not be here. I was just walking by, Mason said. His voice was smooth, almost delicate. Though I guess this explains why Calder gets so restless. Always chasing ghosts. Must be confusing for him. I glared at him. Stop twisting it. I am not twisting anything, he said. I am just saying you react strongly to everything. Anyone would. With a past like yours. Grant looked torn, unsure who to defend. Mason used that silence like a weapon. He stepped closer. Maybe you should take a breather, Calder. You look like you might break something. Grant placed a hand on my shoulder. I did not mean to hurt you. You already did, I said. Mason's smile was faint and poisonous. Some truths are better ignored. I pushed past him and walked out into the rain before I said something I would regret. The storm washed over me. Cold water seeped into my clothes, but my head felt hotter with every breath. Raven found me by the gate. She ran toward me with an umbrella, her eyes wide with worry. What happened? She asked. My whole life is a lie, I said. A woman somewhere is so dangerous to me that my parents abandoned me. And Grant still refuses to tell me who she is. Raven stepped closer until the umbrella covered only me. Water ran down my face. She lifted her hand. I froze as her fingers brushed my cheek. Hold still, she whispered. She wiped the rain gently, like she was afraid I would shatter. Her touch steadied my breath. I trust you. Not him, she said. I swallowed hard. The warmth in her voice softened everything inside me. I do not know what to believe anymore. Then believe me. You are not crazy. And you are not wrong about Mason. The sound of footsteps made us turn. Mason stood under the porch, watching us with unreadable eyes. He tilted his head slightly. Cute. Raven's grip on my sleeve tightened. I felt her nails through the fabric. Mason, I said, stay out of this. Relax, he replied. I am just checking if the two of you are done playing in the rain. Raven pulled me away before I answered. Night settled deeper around us. The street lights flickered. I tried to breathe, to think, but the world felt twisted out of shape. That was when I saw her. A silhouette of a woman at the far end of the driveway. Still. Watching me. My heart slammed against my ribs. Hey. Wait. The woman turned and ran into the darkness. Raven grabbed my arm. Calder, who was that? I stared at the empty road, rain crashing down around us. I think she knows who I am. Raven grabbed my wrist the moment I tried to leave the porch. Her fingers were cold, trembling. Calder, wait. I need to tell you something. Her voice cracked. The streetlights buzzed overhead, the storm easing into a slow drizzle. I turned to her, searching her eyes. What is it? She swallowed. I lied about how long I have known Mason. My pulse kicked up. How long, Raven? Since childhood, she whispered. We grew up in the same community. Before he was adopted. The air thinned around me. Why hide that from me? Because he was not always the way he is now. She took a shaky breath. He used to be kind. Protective. Then something changed. And he has something on my family. Her voice wavered. Something he said he would use if I ever turned against him. I stepped closer. What does he have? She shook her head violently. Please do not ask. I cannot. Not yet. Her breathing quickened and her eyes filled. She tried to hold it back, but her shoulders began to shake. I reached for her without thinking. She collapsed into me. Her forehead pressed against my chest. The scent of rain clung to her hair. I wrapped my arms around her gently, careful not to push too hard. She clutched my shirt as if it anchored her. I am sorry, she whispered. I should have told you sooner. I did not want you to think I was choosing him. I never thought that, I said. I just need the truth. She looked up, eyes shining. Then promise me one thing. Do not confront him yet. Please. He is dangerous when he feels cornered. I brushed a strand of wet hair from her cheek. I will handle it. That is not a promise. Raven, I cannot let him do whatever he wants. Fear flashed across her face. She grabbed my arm again. Calder, listen. If you push him now, he will push back harder. I know him. Please wait. I hesitated. Her fingers tightened. Her breath shook against my skin. But the bitter taste of secrets burned deeper. I need answers, I said quietly. She stepped back as if I had hit her. Then be careful. The moment I turned away, the air between us felt colder. Heavier. I walked home fast, rain soaking the back of my shirt. Every memory of Mason twisted with Raven's confession. Every word he had said sounded different now. Sharper. When I reached my room, the door was slightly open. My stomach dropped. Inside, drawers hung open. Papers covered the floor. My mattress was ripped along the seam. Someone had searched every inch. I stepped forward slowly. My heartbeat pounded in my ears. Mason, I said. He stood by the doorway, leaning casually against the frame as if he had wandered in by accident. His expression was calm. Almost pleased. You and I need to chat, he said. I faced him fully. What did you do? Relax. I did not break anything important. I was looking for something. What? He smiled. Proof. Before I could respond, he lifted a folded sheet of paper between two fingers. The edges were crumpled from use. The kind of thing someone carried for a long time. A DNA test. He held it out. Looks like we share more than an address. Brother. Mason dropped the DNA test into my hands like it was a verdict. The paper shook between my fingers, and he watched me with quiet satisfaction. This is fake, I said. 2 labs say otherwise, he replied. His voice was low. Face it, Calder. We share blood. No. We do not. He tilted his head. Then prove it. I walked out before I did something I would regret. The hallway lights buzzed harshly above me. My pulse was loud in my ears as I dialed the first lab. Myra Penn met me behind the counter, arms crossed. You again, she said. I told you, the results are consistent. I want another test, I said. Different sample. Different chain of custody. She raised an eyebrow. You think someone tampered with it? I know someone could have. She sighed. Fine. But if it matches again, you owe us an apology. A second test. A second result. Positive. I gripped the edge of Myra's desk to steady myself. Can it be faked? She studied me closely. Anything can be faked if someone with access wants it badly enough. Does anyone here owe favors to Mason Hale? Her eyes flickered. He knows people. I cannot say more. But watch your back. Outside, rain misted across my face. I barely had time to breathe before Raven found me running down the steps. Colder. Wait. I stopped. Her eyes searched mine, worried and raw. What did the second test say? She asked. Same as the first. She cursed under her breath. He has connections to Myra's supervisor. He could have manipulated it. Why did you not tell me that earlier? Because I did not know he would go this far. She grabbed my sleeve. You are walking straight into a trap. I pulled away. I need the truth. You will not get it from him. Her voice cracked. Do you know what he did to my family? My chest tightened. Tell me. She hesitated, then spoke softly. He forged documents once. My parents almost lost everything. He gave them the papers only after they agreed to help him with something. What did they help him do? Her silence felt heavier than any answer. I turned toward home. I have to confront him. Calder, do not. She stepped in front of me. When he feels cornered, he hurts people. He already has. She touched my arm gently. Then let me help you. The warmth of her hand almost made me stop. Almost. I pushed forward. Mason was waiting in the kitchen, leaning against the counter. You look pale, he said. Bad news from the lab. You forged it. No proof. And honestly, why do you care so much? Blood is blood. It is not my blood. He smiled like he pitied me. You have no idea how deep this goes. I stepped closer. Then explain it. Not yet. Then stay out of my life. He laughed quietly. If only it were that simple. I walked away before the fury in me boiled over. The storm outside had turned violent, wind shaking the windows as I drove to work. I needed space. A neutral place. Somewhere he could not reach. But when I unlocked the office door, my stomach dropped. The file cabinet was open. Papers scattered on the floor. My personal folder was gone. Someone had broken in. And they took everything with my name on it. Her voice came from the edge of the parking lot, low and steady. Do not go inside. He might still be here. I spun around. The same woman who had vanished from my street stepped out from behind the wall light. Her coat fluttered in the wind, and rain clung to the ends of her hair like silver threads. Who are you? I asked. She lifted her hands slowly. Alina Ward. I knew your parents. My breath stalled. My biological parents. Yes. Rage and disbelief punched through me. Then why did you run before? Because Mason arrived, she said. And I do not reveal myself when he is near. I stepped closer. Explain that. She looked directly into my eyes, her expression almost gentle. Mason is not who you think he is. And neither are you. The wind pressed cold air between us. My voice came out tight. Start talking. She reached into her coat and pulled out a sealed envelope. This was written by your mother weeks before she disappeared. They asked me to deliver it when you were old enough. I stared at the envelope. Yellowed edges. Faded ink. Real. Terrifyingly real. Before I could open it, footsteps rushed toward us. Calder. Raven grabbed my arm, eyes sharp with fear as she looked at Alina. What are you doing with him? Alina lifted her chin. Trying to keep him alive. Raven stepped in front of me. You need to leave. Raven, I said quietly. She knew my parents. That does not mean she is safe, Raven shot back. People connected to your past always bring danger. Alina let out a short breath. You are the girl who used to follow Mason around. Raven's face tightened. I was a child. You still act like one, Alina said, then turned to me. You deserve the truth. Not fear. Raven grabbed my wrist hard. Calder, do not trust her. She is manipulating you. Alina placed a hand on my shoulder. He can decide for himself. Raven's expression cracked when she saw Alina touch me. Something fragile flickered in her eyes. Jealousy. Hurt. I am trying to protect him, Raven whispered. By hiding things, Alina replied calmly. You know what Mason is capable of. Yet you kept secrets. Raven looked away. I stepped between them. Enough. I want answers. Not arguments. Alina nodded and pointed toward my car. Sit. There is something I need to show you, and you will not want to be standing. Inside the quiet cabin, Alina opened her bag and slid out a thin folder. Dozens of pages. Photocopies. Mugshots. Passport scans. School IDs. All the faces were different. But the handwriting on every form was Mason's. My stomach dropped. "What is this?" I whispered. "Proof," she said. "Mason has been falsifying identities for nearly a decade. He began when he was 12. He experimented on strangers first. Then people closer to him. And then me." My voice felt hollow. Alina met my eyes. "You were never his target. You were his masterpiece." Raven touched my arm lightly, her voice shaking. "Calder, I am so sorry. I tried to stop him. I tried." I forced myself to breathe. The folder felt like it weighed 100 pounds. Alina leaned closer. "Your parents disappeared because of what they discovered. And you are walking the same path." I looked at the faces in the file. All the stolen lives. All the lies. One question formed with chilling clarity as the chapter of my life shifted under me. If Mason could rewrite anyone's identity, then who was I before he changed mine? He was never adopted. Alina's words sliced through the room before I had even shut the door. Her voice carried the kind of certainty that made my skin tighten. I stood in my living room with the file she brought laid open on the coffee table. Papers. Signatures. Old forms that should have meant safety. Raven stood near the window, hands trembling at her sides. I stared at Alina. "What do you mean he was never adopted?" "I grew up with him." "He forged everything," she said. "At 16 he walked into your life with an entire identity he built himself." My heartbeat hammered. No. My father would never fall for that. "He never saw the original documents," Alina said. "Mason intercepted and replaced them. He needed your family. More specifically, he needed something connected to your biological father." I felt my jaw clench. "What does he want?" Alina held my eyes. "Access. Your father was part of an old protection program. Mason has been trying to break into it for years." Raven turned to me slowly. "The DNA tests. They were part of it too." I nodded numbly. Both labs showed the same result. Alina tapped the file. "Because he altered them. He had access to both facilities through an acquaintance. You were never related." The room tilted for a moment. Not from shock, but from the realization of how long he had been inside my life. Quiet. Calculating. Patient. I pushed away from the table. "I am going to talk to him." Raven caught my arm. "Calder, please do not face him alone." "I will not let him rewrite my life again," I said. "I am done running." Alina stepped closer. "If you confront him, you need to be ready for what he becomes when cornered." I looked between them. "I am ready." I was not. But I had no choice. The moment I entered the backyard, Mason stepped from behind the fence, as if he had been waiting. "I heard you were looking for me," he said. The porch light hit his face just enough to show the confidence there. The cold, smug curve of his mouth. I took a breath. "You faked everything. You faked the adoption. The DNA. My records. All of it." His smile tightened. "You finally figured it out." "Why?" I said. "Why my family?" He stepped closer, his voice low. "Because you had something handed to you that should have been mine. A father. A home. A future. I built myself from nothing. You were born into privilege and wasted it." "I never had privilege," I said. "I fought for everything I have." His expression snapped. "You stole the life I deserved." "You stole my identity," I said quietly. Mason's jaw flexed. "You never understood what your father hid. You do not even know who you are." I took a step forward. "Then tell me." He laughed, a sound that scraped the air. "Why would I give away the only leverage I have left?" Raven appeared behind me. "Mason, stop this." He turned, and something dark flickered across his face when he saw her. "Little bird," he said softly. "Do not call me that," she whispered. He moved toward her. "Your family still owes me. You know what I can do if I open my mouth." I stepped between them so fast he flinched. "Touch her and you deal with me." Mason leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper meant only for me. "Her family's real crime would destroy her. And I know every detail." The chill that ran through me was worse than fear. It was the certainty that he was not finished. And I had no idea what he planned to tear apart next. Raven's hands shook in mine, cold and trembling, as we crouched behind the library shelf. I could hear the wind rattle the windows and rain hammer the roof. You have to know, she whispered. Her voice broke. Why Mason keeps me quiet? I pressed my forehead against hers. Tell me everything. I will protect you. Her eyes filled with tears. Years ago, my father, he caused a fire. It was an accident. Someone close to Mason died in it. My stomach twisted. He has been blackmailing you all this time? She nodded, trembling harder. He threatened my family. I could never speak. I thought I could handle it alone. But now, I can't. I wrapped my arms around her. Her body shook against mine. The rain outside felt distant. Her scent, faint and wet from the storm, pressed against me. You do not have to face him alone. Not ever again. She buried her face in my chest, letting herself fall apart. I held her tighter, feeling every pulse of her fear and guilt. I promise you, Raven. I will protect you. We stayed like that for a long minute. The storm outside mirrored everything inside. Rage, fear, grief. Then she pulled back slightly, wiping her tears on my sleeve. Her gaze caught mine. There is one more thing. Something he wants more than anything. I frowned. What is it? She whispered the words that made my blood run cold. Grant has a safe in his office. Mason believes it holds something from your biological father. He will do anything to get it. We raced upstairs, the house silent except for our pounding footsteps. My heart beat in my ears. Every second counted. Grant's office door loomed in front of us. I jiggled the handle. Locked. Raven's fingers traced the edge of the desk. There has to be a way. I spotted the faint outline of a keypad and punched in the code I had memorized from years of watching Grant work. The lock clicked. Inside, dust motes floated in the lamplight. The safe glimmered in the corner. My hand trembled as I pressed against the cold steel. We finally have it, I breathed. Raven leaned against me, her cheek brushing mine. A spark of warmth shot through my chest despite the tension. We are going to end this, I whispered. She nodded. Together. I entered the combination, my fingers slippery with sweat. The lock clicked, almost too easily. I could feel Mason's presence in my mind, imagining the chaos he would cause if he found us now. The door creaked open, revealing the contents. I froze. Papers, old files, and a small envelope marked with my biological father's seal. Before I could reach for it, a low voice stopped us. You are too late. Grant stood in the doorway, rain dripping from his coat. His eyes were cold, unreadable. The lamplight flickered across his face, shadows highlighting the tension in his jaw. Raven pressed herself closer to me. What do you mean? I demanded. Grant's gaze flicked to the safe. He already knows. You cannot undo what has been set in motion. The wind howled against the windows. The papers on the floor trembled. Every instinct screamed at me to fight, to grab the envelope. But Grant's words sank in. Mason had beaten us to it. And in that moment, I realized the final piece of the puzzle was gone. We were running out of time. The safe door groaned as Grant pushed it open fully. My eyes widened at the contents inside. A single folder lay on the velvet-lined shelf. My heart beat so hard I thought it would shatter my ribs. This is it, Grant said quietly. The truth Mason wanted to bury. I stepped closer. Raven followed, her hand brushing against mine. The warmth anchored me. I lifted the folder and opened it. My real birth certificate stared back. Every detail etched in ink I had never seen before. Your parents, Grant said, his voice low, they were investigators. They helped expose a crime ring. Mason's parents were involved in it. When the ring fell, Mason lost everything. His parents. His future. He came here to destroy the last connection to those who ruined him. I felt my stomach turn. He made me into a target. Raven pressed her hand to my back. But we found the truth. Together. I clenched my fists, adrenaline fueling me. Where is he? Grant stepped aside. Mason stood in the doorway, face pale, hands shaking. You have no idea what I had to do to get this far, he said, voice low and dangerous. Everything I stole, every life I touched, it was for this. I stepped toward him. You hurt everyone around you. Why? Why try to replace me? He laughed, broken and bitter. Replace you. Take your life. Your name. Your home. Because it should have been mine. Always mine. Raven moved between us, hand on my chest, holding me back. Stop it, Mason. You do not need to hurt him anymore. His eyes flicked to her. Pain and obsession tangled in the darkness behind them. She will never forgive me. She will never see me as anything but the monster I became. Raven's grip tightened on my arm. We are here now. The past is over. You can face the consequences, but no one else will suffer. He slumped against the doorframe. His shoulders shook, and the mask of control cracked. I wanted to be him. I wanted his life. I hated seeing him have what I never could. I tried so hard to become him. The truth landed like a hammer. Years of stolen moments, lies, and manipulation, all built on obsession. Authorities arrived at that moment. Their footsteps echoed against the walls. Mason's eyes met mine, empty and pleading. Tell me that it was worth it, he whispered. I shook my head. It was never yours to take. Not in the first place. They led him away. His face turned toward Raven and me one last time. A mix of rage and despair lingered there, but it was finally over. Raven exhaled, her hand still gripping mine. Her thumb brushed over my knuckles. We did it, she said softly, voice trembling. We found the truth. I pulled her close for a brief embrace. The storm outside had cleared, and moonlight spilled through the windows. The rain had washed everything raw and honest. Together, I whispered. She nodded, pressing her forehead against mine. Together. Grant and Alina stepped back, giving us space. The weight of secrets, lies, and stolen time finally lifted. For the first time, I felt the possibility of life without Mason's shadow. Without deception. I exhaled, letting it all sink in. The folder in my hands was more than a document. It was proof of who I really was. And with Raven beside me, I realized that truth could finally become our future.